Hello, hello, and welcome to Space of Possibilities with Rachel. And I think this is the English version, so how does it get any better than that? Amongst other things, I'm an access consciousness facilitator. I'm a lover of books and of conversations and of energies and invitations and possibilities for joy, for ease, for having a more elegant way of living than falling into a lot of the gunk that we see so many people around us falling into. And really, the last 10 years of my life have given me more of the space of being me, a huge part of that, because of the access. I'm sure I've matured at some point, also. But it's also the tools of access consciousness, the pragmatic, practical application of really super basic tools that have contributed so much to my life and living. There are loads of amazing books. Being You, Changing the World is one of them that I absolutely love. The How to Become Money workbook, which is more like how to become workbook. I know it says money, I know, but it's not only about money, it's about being. This is another phenomenal book, chock full of tools and explanations and different ways of seeing. Now, interestingly, I bought this book when it was first published. I've got it in like a digital format as well as the physical, and it has just been released in Spanish too, if you feel like exploring it that way. But you go back through and you see tools that you've seen before, and you get an entirely deeper, like a different way of looking at a tool that you may very well be familiar with from before. So this one is actually scrolling down there at the bottom of the screen, which is the clearing statement. So I'll be reading a little snippet about the clearing statement. So basically, for anybody who doesn't know, you can go to theclearingstatement.com, and Dr. Dane here gives such a phenomenal explanation of the clearing statement that it's brilliant. It's like 20 minutes, and it just invites you to play with this magic wand of possibilities. And this is a different way of looking at it. But the whole clearing statement, just so you know, is right and wrong, good and bad, POD and POC, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And it sounds like gobbledygook. I remember the first time that I heard the clearing statement. I was listening to a tele whatever, and that's how I found access. And I couldn't understand the weird words that the woman was saying. And she kept laughing and repeating these words. And I'm like, damn it, life is difficult. I'm depressed and I'm struggling and things are horrible and terrible. And why are you laughing, lady? It was just really weird. And I remember I had one of those light green Post-it notes, and I wrote down the funny words, right and wrong, good and bad, POD and POC, all nine, shorts, boys and beyonds. So what are we doing when we use these words? When we ask questions about something, and I'm reading from the book now, Divorceless Relationships by Gary M. Douglas. What we are doing what are we doing when we are using these words? Well, when we ask questions about something, we call up the energy that has us locked into it, and then we destroy and uncreate it all with the clearing statement. We ask the energy to go back to the point of creation, that's the POC, and to the point of destruction, that's the POD, so that it disintegrates and goes away. The words in the clearing statement are kind of short speak for the energy being asked for. We say the clearing statement as words, but it is the energy that changes things, not the words. And I love that. You don't have to understand it for it to work. But if you want to know more, there's a complete explanation on the back of the book, or go to theclearingstatement.com and you'll find out lots over there. Now, I love this part. And I love this part especially because you know what? I spent more than 15 years in therapy on a counselor's, a therapist's couch. I remember sitting there with the big pillows and the tassels and just so anxiously twisting the tassels in my hand. And at one point there was a koosh ball that I got to play with. And I kept having to go back to figure out the where and the how did this start and when, and going to the mind for everything. But this is what's cool about access. Access is different from most of the things you've ever done because we are not giving you our answers and we're not trying to get you to change your mind. We all know that doesn't work. You are the only one who can unlock the points of view that have you trapped. Access consciousness can give you the tools that make it easy by showing you how to change the energy. Whenever we choose, whatever we choose puts the energy of the universe, the energy of consciousness into action, and that shows up as your life. And this is what your life looks like now in this very moment. Literally, the first language is energy. Everything you say, everything you think, and everything you do generates what occurs in your life. And I love that because you know what? If we've chosen whatever we've got now is what we've chosen up to now. And so for whatever reason, and it makes no difference what the reason is, just like we were saying, we're not looking for the answer. We're not looking for a specific reason. We're looking for knowing that we can change what is without judging what was, because whatever was brought us to right here and to right now. But right here and right now, we've got tools, we've got questions, we've got possibilities that allow us to change everything. Whatever we'd like to change. And it may or may not happen like bippity boppity boo. But the thing is, you let go of that, of that stuff that's keeping you stuck. Now, to use the clearing statement, ask a question designed to bring up energy of whatever has you trapped. Even something simple, like something's going on and you're not enjoying it, you could say, whatever this is, whatever's keeping this stuck in my world, everywhere I keep going to doing that, I destroy and uncreate it all. I'm willing to let that pattern go without having to figure out where it comes from. It may even come from some other lifetime that I don't even remember. Sure, I could do, I remember reading, what was it? Messages from the Masters or something like Brian Weiss years ago, like 20 years ago, I read the book. But you don't even have to figure out where it comes from. You just have to be the willingness, the space, the openness, the courage to say, you know what, this no longer works for me. And I'm willing to let this go. So whatever this is, POD and POC. That's the short speak, the superpowers. The superpowers of consciousness are POD and POC, point of creation, point of destruction, right? So this is so cool. So to use the clearing statement, you just ask a question designed to bring up the energy of what has you trapped, including all the crap that you've built on it or are hiding behind. And then you say the clearing statement to clear it and change it. The more you run these clearing statements, the deeper they go and the more layers and levels they can unlock for you. And I mean, we've been here who knows how many lifetimes, and it doesn't matter how many lifetimes. It doesn't matter where it necessarily came from. It's your willingness to choose something different that will create a different future for you and for me and for anybody who chooses to play with these tools, which is what I love about these access consciousness tools. Now, look at your life and see how many times you've played the same story over and over and over with different characters. Been there, done that, worn that t-shirt. You keep asking yourself, how come I keep ending up here? What is wrong with me? Anybody ever? I've done that. Yeah, if I've done that, I'm sure I'm not the only one on the planet who's done that. Well, 90% of what you are run by is based on decisions that you made in some other lifetime. The clearing statement will start to undo that so that you can have a different choice. What a cool concept. I love that. Now, when you use these tools and processes, you start to generate a future life that's different. You will no longer be the effect of people, things, events, or anything else. Imagine that. You're no longer this marionette that gets pulled and gets, manipulated by absolutely everything else. You get to choose what works for you. You get to choose. You get to choose. And I love that. Now, the POD and POC, the superpowers of consciousness, right? The POD and POC is about going back and unlocking everywhere you took a polarized point of view. What's polarized? Right and wrong, good and bad, right? polarized. You're going to the negative of something or the positive of something, but whatever it is, you're stuck in that electrical charge of polarity, right? And you can either or, black or white, but you're not actually getting the breadth of what's possible. So the POD and POC is about going back and unlocking everywhere that you took a polarized point of view, which requires an enormous amount of energy to hold it in place. Did you get that? So energy, when you're holding energy in place, I love this visualization. And I know I'm going over the top longer than usual today, but look at that. If I'm holding on to a point of view, and this orange pen is my point of view, and I'm freaking holding on to it for dear life, I'm maintaining it. I'm putting all my energy and keeping it in place so it does not disappear. I'm holding this point of view because who knows, maybe I see myself as that point of view, or who would I be without that point of view? And I'm holding on to it. I'm holding on to it, desperately seeking point of view there, right? And I'm holding on to it. And I don't realize that if I POD and POC, I let go a point of view. I let go of another layer of a point of view. Every time I go, you know, this no longer works for me. Whatever is creating this in my life, I destroy and uncreate it all. Right and wrong, good and bad, POD and POC, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. Whoop, I can let another level of it go, another layer. And it's not like I have to know in advance how many layers, because I've got no clue how many layers something has. Who knows how many lifetimes I'd adopted or functioned from that point of view? Who knows how many decisions I've had previously about it? But it doesn't matter, because I can just keep going, okay, well, whatever this is, oh, it came up again. Oh, I'm not bad for it having come up again. I've got such an amazing friend in the universe that's showing me right to my face these things that are coming up in my world. So POD and POC, whatever is bringing this up, you know, whatever this is, any point of view that I'm holding on to, I can let it go. And now look at how much looser this is now. And I can let that go. And at some point, I've let go of enough points of view that I'd held on to. I've POD and POC'd enough where this thing that I'd held on to, I used so much energy to keep my hands closed around it to be able to maintain it. But at some point, it drops off. And now what can I do with my hands? Now what can I do with my energy? Now what can I do with whatever it is that I'd like to have and be and choose in the world? Something new is possible. Something new is available that was never available before, simply because I let go of having to use so much of my energy to maintain that polarized point of view. Now back to the book. The POD and POC is about going back and unlocking where you took a polarized point of view, which requires an enormous amount of energy to hold in place. And when you unlock that point of view, you no longer have the need to hold on to that energy. This means now you have energy available to generate your life. And the more you are willing to change, the more POD and POC you do, and the more energy accumulates behind you like an avalanche. You now have more energy because you are no longer fighting against a point of view, and because you are no longer using your energy against you or keeping it locked in. It's now available to generate your life. So whenever you say, oh, I like that, I'd like to have that, it goes out in the universe and invites that thing that you desire to come into you, and it does. So what would it be like if we'd begin to create our life and living from the joy of possibilities, from the wonder of what's available that I've never even imagined that I could ask for? When we let go of the no, I can't, what else is possible? So thank you so much for being here, receiving this. And if you like it, please share it, because I have made this particular exploration in the month of February, even though it is space of possibilities, I've allowed it outside of my space of possibilities group so that maybe it'll kind of go out in the world like dandelion seeds, and the little seeds go out. So if this touches you and you're enjoying it, it's on my YouTube channel, not on a specific playlist, but maybe I'll make a Snippets and Possibilities playlist. It's there for you guys to share, invite, play with. And if you would like to join the Space of Possibilities group, It is also available on the link tree that's going down here. There is a link as well to that Facebook group, and you're invited there where you can ask me questions and converse and come and play and receive other clearings and other things that are fun and different and enjoyable for me. I do clearings for change in there. I pop in and do videos and other things that are just specifically for the group. But these snippets, because they're such amazing access tools and they're based on the books pretty much, I wanted them to go out in the world in a different kind of way. So if this contributed to you at all, thank you. And let's keep playing, let's keep choosing, and let's keep POD and POCing and letting go of what no longer works so we could now choose something different. And we don't, by the way, it's a big one. We do not have to fixate on what doesn't work. We don't have to keep looking to the past. Oh my God, I have to figure it out, because if I don't figure that out, I can't have fun. That's kind of like somebody saying, I'm in so much debt, I will not allow myself to buy something to eat because I have so much quote unquote debt, from before. It's like, why punish yourself for whatever was? No, let that go. Just let that go. And now what can you choose? Now what can you enjoy? Now what can you step towards that will create a different future for you? So I love that. That works for me. And who knows, maybe it works for you. And if it doesn't, that's okay too. So thank you, and see you tomorrow.